Hello everyone, my name is Manohar. I'm a data science trainer and consultant. Today we are going to discuss about the topic that types of machine learning. If we discuss in the practical way, problem may come like classify if it is a cat or a dog and some house price predictions. Problem may come in different ways. To solve those kinds of problems, machine learning is segregated into various types. Let me tell you agenda for this discussion. Firstly, I will explain what is machine learning. After, I'll let you know features of machine learning. How mobile has some kinds of features like camera, RAM. In the same way, machine learning has also some features. I will explain those kinds of features after I will explain types of machine learning. I will explain limitations of machine learning and also I will explain why deep learning came into the picture. After that, I will explain some of machine learning techniques. After that, I will explain machine learning applications. And in the end of this session, I will explain complete life cycle of machine learning. Firstly, let me explain what is machine learning. Artificial intelligence is the discipline that covers anything related to making machines smart, whether it's a robot, a refrigerator, a car, or a software application. If you are making them smart, then it is artificial intelligence. Machine learning is commonly used alongside artificial intelligence, but they are not the same thing. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Machine learning refers to systems that can learn by themselves, systems that get smarter and smarter over time without any human interventions. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning, but applied to large data sets. Artificial intelligence works involves in machine learning because intelligent behavior requires considerable knowledge, and learning is the easiest way to get the knowledge. Humans have been obsessed with automation since the beginning of the technology adoption. Artificial intelligence enables machines to think without any human interventions. It is a broad area of computer science. Artificial intelligence systems fall into three types: artificial narrow intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and artificial super intelligence. Artificial narrow intelligence, which is a goal oriented and programming to perform a single task. Artificial general intelligence, which allows machines to learn, understand, and act in the same way that is indistinguishable from humans in a given situation. Artificial superintelligence is the hypothetical AI where machines are capable of exhibiting intelligence more than the brightest humans. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence that uses statistical learning algorithms to build smarter systems. The machine learning systems can automatically learn and improve without explicitly programmed. The recommendation system and music and video streaming services are examples of machine learning. Simply, we can say machine learning is a predictive modeling technique to predict what would happen in the future based on the past data. And deep learning is a subset of machine learning. Deep learning is a technique that is inspired by the way of human brain filters information. It is associated with learning from examples. Deep learning systems helps a computer model to filter the input data through layers to predict and classify the information. Deep learning processes information in the same manner as the human brain would. It is used in technologies such as driverless cars. Deep learning network architectures are classified into convolutional neural networks, recurrent neural networks, and artificial neural networks. Let me explain features of machine learning. In some time, we may get unstructured data. After collecting that data, we need to process the data by removing unnecessary data in the given data. After making the data perfect, machine learning uses this data to detect the patterns in the data. Here, the pattern means unknown results for the problem statement. With past data, we will predict what will happen in the future. I want to know what is my business profit in the next year. I don't know what would happen, but I want to know what is happening in the next year. This unknown results for the raised question is called pattern. This machine learning uses the data to detect the patterns in the data. Machine learning enables the computers to teach and train themselves to grow and change when exposed to new data. To understand this, let me tell you an example. Suppose, consider if you are using Windows operating system or Mac operating system or Linux operating system. If any new version will come our computer, automatically it will detect that and it will make you up to date. In the same way, machine learning teaches a model if any unknown data come into the picture, it will store that data into the trained data. Again with that data, it will train. From that, it can learn by themselves and it will give you the results for the problem statement. And machine learning uses iterative algorithms without explicitly programmed. You can observe example in the right side. Let me explain that. If you want to print the values from 1 to 5, then we can use print 1, print 2 and print 3 and so on. But if you want to print the values from 1 to 1000, then is it possible to write print 1, print 2, print 3 up to print 1000? Yes, it is possible, but it takes more time. But companies are expecting more productivity. If it is taking more time, then how companies will get more productivity? Productivity means whatever the work you can do in a 5 days, how much profit you will get. If you do the same work in a 1 day, then how much profit you will get? Definitely, we will get more productivity if you do the work in a 1 day instead of 5 days. That is what the productivity. So to get more productivity, we have to do the work in a less time. With iterative algorithms, we will get more productivity. This machine learning uses iterative algorithms to give the results in a very less time. These are the features of machine learning. Let me explain types of machine learning. Machine learning is categorized into supervised machine learning and supervised machine learning. Again, supervised machine learning is categorized into classification and regression, and unsupervised machine learning categorized into clustering and association. Let me explain what is supervised machine learning and what is unsupervised machine learning. Supervised machine learning is the machine learning task of learning a function that maps an input to an output based on examples input-output pairs. It infers a function from labeled training data consisting of a set of training examples. In supervised learning, each example a pair consisting of an input object, typically a vector, and desired output value. A supervised learning algorithm analyzes the training data and produces an inferred function, which can be used for mapping new examples. An optimal scenario will allow for the algorithms to correctly determine the class labels for instance. This requires the learning algorithms to generalize from the training data to unseen situations in a reasonable way. You can observe in the slide, I got the Tom and Jerry data. It is a label data. Label means our target features. I classified the data by training the model. Now I taken one more object. I want to know, is it a Tom or a Jerry? Supervised machine learning deals with which the data already knows the problem statement results, which already know the results for the problem statement. If any unknown resulted data came into the picture, then it will give the results based on trained model with labeled data. Let me explain what is unsupervised machine learning. Unsupervised machine learning is a machine learning task in which the user do not need to supervise the model. Instead, it allows the model to work on its own to discover patterns and information that was previously undetected. It mainly deals with unlabeled data. Unsupervised machine learning algorithms allows user to perform more complex and processing tasks compared to supervised machine learning. Although unsupervised learning can be more unpredictable compared with other natural language methods. Unsupervised machine learning include clustering, anomaly detection, neural network, etc. Unsupervised machine learning deals with unlabeled data, which don't know which problem does not have any results for the given data. This unsupervised machine learning is used to grouping the similar objects which are more similar to each other in the same group. Oh. And we can reduce the large data into small data with principal component analysis. In the image, you can observe there are some colors randomly at a place. We need to separate that which are more similar to each other in this group. Let me explain what is clustering. Clustering is a machine learning technique which categorizes from unsupervised machine learning. Cluster analysis or clustering is the task of grouping a set of objects in a such way that objects are in the same group called cluster are more similar to each other in the same group. Each group is called cluster. Let me tell you an example to understand clustering. Consider a bank manager case. If bank manager want to give the loan for the account holder, but there is a question to whom I need to give the loan. If I give the loan to all the account holders in the bank, if they won't return the amount, then who is the responsible person? Manager may get lots of doubt like this, right? So bank manager decides to give the loan for the people by categorizing all the account holders into three ways, like high loan, medium loan, and low loan. He can't categorize the data based on only one feature like their income, because everyone knows Vijay Mallya, right? Vijay Mallya taken much of loan from the banks, but he didn't pay the amount to the banks how much he has taken. If I categorize the account holder, I will decide how much amount I can give to them based on their paying eligibility. For that, he is considering some kind of features like account holder income, tenure. Tenure means how many years that account holder relationship is continued with bank, and are they self-employed, what their education background, is account holder got married or not, if he married, then how many children for that person, what is the basic expenditure of them. Based on number of features he will decide under which category they will come. Later on he will decide how much amount I have to give them. To categorize the people based on the some kinds of features, the bank manager will contact the data scientist and he will give the data to the data scientist. Data scientist will cluster the people, right? Let me explain what is regression. Regression is a supervised machine learning technique which helps in finding the correlation between the variables and enables us to predict the continuous output variable based on the one or more predicted variables. Let me give you an example to understand linear regression. In the slide you can observe an image. In that image there is a data. The data is experience of an employee, written test score after 10 and interview test score after 10, and salary in lakhs. Let me explain that clearly. Employee has 5 years of experience and his test score and interview score are 9 and 7. Company HR decided the salary to him as 5 lakhs per annum, and second employee has 4 years of experience and his test score and interview score are 8 and 9. Company HR decided the salary to him as 6 lakhs per annum. In that way, many employees are there, HR decided salary for them based on their experience and the test score and the interview score. This prediction of salary based on highly correlated feature is called regression. In the left side you can observe there is a plot. That plot is called regression plot. And let me explain the classification. Classification is a supervised machine learning technique. It is the process of categorizing the given data into classes. It can be performed on structured and unstructured data. The process starts with predicting the classes of given data points. The classes are often referred to as target label categories. Let me tell you an example to understand this classification. Consider a dog or a cat. If you ask him, do you know which one is the dog and which one is the cat? How that classified in his mind? Based on some kinds of features, he segregate that Is it a cat or a dog? Right? This is what the classification is, and let me explain the association. Association rule mining finds interesting associations and relationships among large set of data items. This rule shows how frequently an item set occurs in a transaction. A typical example in market basket analysis. Market basket analysis is one of the key techniques used by the large relations to show association between the items. It allows retailers to identify the relationship between them that people buy together frequently. In the slide, you can observe one data set. In that data set, the first customer bought milk, bread, tea powder, water, and second customer bought milk, coffee powder, water, and third customer bought honey, tea powder, and water. If fourth customer buy milk, then which item we need to suggest him? This recommendation system is called association, and there are some more recommendation methods are there. They are upselling and cross-selling. Let me explain upselling and cross-selling. Come to the upselling. If customer came to buy 3000 rupees mobile, then we have to recommend him to buy 5000 rupees mobile. This kind of recommendation system is called upselling. And come to the cross-selling. If customer came to buy a mobile, then we have to recommend him to buy headphones as well. This kind of recommendation system is called cross-selling. This recommendation system is called the association. And let me explain machine learning techniques. Machine learning techniques are anomaly detection, categorization, visualization, classification, trend analysis, clustering, and decision making. Let me explain each of its application one by one and come to the classification. I already explained to you about classification, but let me give you a brief. Classification is a machine learning task that uses the data given to it and from that learns to classify the new observations. And come to the clustering. I will explain to you about clustering. Clustering is a technique that grouping a set of objectives in such a way that objects are more similar to each other in the same group. And come to the categorization. Categorization is a technique that organizing the data into categories for its most effective and efficient use. And come to the decision making. How you take the decisions in your life? Based on that only life is dependent. So your decisions are your life. After prediction based on that outcome, your life is dependent. And come to the anomaly detection. Anomaly detection is a technique that uses to identify the cases that are more unusual within the data that is seemingly homogeneous. Consider an example as an employee salary. If the employee salary is 21,000 rupees per month, in some of months he absent for his job. So salary came less depends on his working days in a month. At one festival, company has given bonus to the employee. Actual salary is 21,000 rupees and due to his absence and he got less salary and he got bonus. So totally he got 40,000 rupees in a month. If I want to predict my next month's salary, then may I consider this bonus salary? Definitely no. Because if I predict my salary, then that salary may come more than my actual salary. So we consider it as my outlier. That unusual data detection is called anomaly detection. And let me explain the data visualization. Visualization is a technique to represent the data into graphical format. It enables decision makers to perform the analytics. To represent the data visually, there are some packages are available with the Python. They are matplotlib, seaborn, ggplot, bokeh, peggle, plotlib, geoplatlib, clem, lather. Matplotlib was the first Python data visualization library. Many different libraries are built designed to work with it during analysis. They allow you to access number of matplotlib methods with less code, while matplotlib is a good for getting the essence of data. It's very useful for creating charts quickly and easily, and matplotlib is extremely powerful, but that power comes with complexity. And come to the trend analysis. Trend analysis is a technique that aims at projecting both the current and future movements of events through the use of time series data analysis. Trend analysis is used in a technical analysis that attempts to predict the future stock price movements based on recently observed trend data. Trend analysis is based on the idea that what happened in the past gives traders an idea of what will happen in the future. Let me tell you an example to understand this trend analysis technique. Consider stock price predictions. At every hour, they will predict what may happen in the next an hour based on present movement. For this continuous prediction of prices, we use time series analysis. A popular and widely used statistical method for time series forecasting is ARIMA. ARIMA stands for Auto-Regressive Integrated Moving Average. If you can observe in Amazon applications, for every hour, price varies in Amazon. Just check for an item in Amazon and again check for that item after an hour. You can observe the price varies. Because Amazon has lots of vendors, they will decide the price. In that same way, we will predict the price of item in the every hour, right? This is what the trend analysis. Okay, let us see in which field we can use machine learning. In manufacturing, we use machine learning for cost reduction through predictive maintenance. Predictive maintenance leads to less maintenance activity, which means lower labor cost and reduce inventory and material wastage. For example, consider I have a door manufacturing company. When I start my company, I don't know how much material and how many members I need to use to manufacture a door. In my previous years, roughly to manufacture 100 doors, I used 50 members. To manufacture 200 doors, I used 150 members. That time, I spent much of money for labors and materials. I lost much of money and material. Due to that, my profits are also reduced. Now I got a project to manufacture 1000 doors. Then how many members I have to use? I need to use. That time, machine learning helps us to decide how many members we need to use and how much material we can be used. With machine learning, we will get more benefits and profits. In this way, machine learning can be useful in a manufacturing. Prior machine learning, companies are losing their profits, but when machine learning came into the picture, machine learning mostly used to solve the business problems in healthcare to find whether the patient has disease or not. For example, consider a COVID-19 scenario. If the person has cough, cold, headache, lungs pain, then we consider he has a coronavirus. Sometimes they might be with cold, but corona is negative. Sometimes it might be positive. It's new virus, so many are injuring with it due to lack of medicine. To test all the persons with their blood, it may get too much time. Virus expands to the society in a very less time. That time, that is better to take the decision, take the status of health of each person and then make the predictions. It gives us the results. And YouTube also using machine learning. In YouTube, if you see a video, there are number of videos are recommended to you related to that video. To recommend a video, machine learning provides a recommendation system. If you just open YouTube without searching for any video, we can observe there are lots of videos are recommended for you based on your search history. And to detect the faces, machine learning can also be used in a Facebook. If you add a friend in a Facebook, that will ask you, is he your friend? Because that search for friends of your friends. If that photo is not in that list, that time it raises the question by detecting the faces. If you say yes, he also a friend in our Facebook. Again, that will take all the images of his friends. Again, the process will continue. Google Translator also using machine learning to translate the text from one language to another language. Google Translator works same as like our dictionary. Whenever you are unable to find the meaning of the text, then just scan that text with a Google Translator that will convert the language into any other languages. And let me explain machine learning in email spamming. For every second, more than 1 lakh of emails are sending and receiving in our daily life. How storage system is managing any emails? To maintain a storage system in emails, email messages are segregated into spam messages and non-spam messages. Qualities of spam messages are unsolicited messages, commercial advertising, distorted images, and bad grammars. To segregate spam and non-spam messages, we need natural language processing and machine learning. With natural language processing, we perform the data pre-processing. After performing the natural language processing, we collect the data like is it unsolicited, is having distorted images, is it having bad grammar, is it having advertising messages. With this data, we will predict whether it is a spam message or non-spam message. In this way, machine learning can be used in email spam filtering. In automobile, machine learning can be used to detect the price of car. Let me explain this with an example. Consider if Chinese companies wants to expand their business in the America also. Then if they want to involve in American market also, then they need to know their standards as well, because Chinese market standards is different and American market standards is different. If they know on what basis Americans are deciding the price of car, then Chinese can enter into the US market as well without loss of any money. In this way, machine learning can also be used in an automobile as well. Let me tell you the limitations of machine learning. Data acquisition. Data acquisition is one of the most painful points in the field of data science and machine learning. Collecting data comes with a cost. Also, it so happens that when we are collecting the data from surveys, it might contain a large volumes of bogus and incorrect data. Many times we do face situations where we find an imbalance in the data, which leads to poor accuracy of models. These reasons make data acquisition is a massive disadvantage. Next, algorithm selection. A machine learning problem can implement various algorithms to find the solution. It is manual and tedious task to run the models with the different algorithms and identify the most accurate algorithm based on the results. This is a disadvantage. And next, time consuming. When I compare with the deep learning, machine learning takes a little bit more time. This is the disadvantage with machine learning. Next, image recognition. Machine learning can't recognize the images, and also it can't classify the images. To overcome all the disadvantages with machine learning, deep learning came into the picture. Let me explain about how human brain differs from artificial brain. In nerve cell, neuron is a special biological cell that processes the information. According to estimation, there are huge number of neurons, approximately 10 power 11 with the neurons, and interconnections are approximately 10 power 15. As shown in the figure, a typical neuron consists of 4 parts with the help of which we can explain its working. First, let me explain dendrites. There are tree-like branches responsible for receiving the information from other neurons it is connected to. In other sense, we can say that they are like the cords of neurons. An axon, it is just like a capable through which neuron sends the information. And synapses, it is the interconnection between the axon and other neuron dendrites. The term neural, name from the nervous system basic unit, is called neuron, and hence a network of such is called a neural network. That would be the network of neurons in a human brain. Let me explain life cycle of machine learning. In every project, after understanding the problem statement, the first step is to identify the source. You need to identify the data source and get the data by conducting surveys or from database or from web scraping. Whatever the source that is, first we need to get the data from that. Without data we can't predict in the future. We can't predict the future, right? After getting the data, we need to identify your target and your required features in the data. After that, we make the data clean and meaningful by applying data manipulation techniques. After making the data perfect, we split the data into train and test data that depends on our requirement. After, we have to train our model with trained data. By feeding the information to machine, we train our model with trained data. After that, find the accuracy of our model. If we get less accuracy, then we apply some statistical techniques on that and to get the better accuracy. This entire process is called life cycle of machine learning. With this, I would like to end this webinar. I really appreciate your precious time and participation in this session. I would like to meet you all once again in my next webinar with lots of interesting facts and information for your career. Thank you once again and my best wishes.